Hello friends, welcome to this live seminar on WOW Classrooms. This is Dr.Dheeraj Mehrotra, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of the wonderful initiatives on how to have WOW Classrooms. And I'm awaiting the participants. We are looking forward to having and exploring some of the ideas towards WOW classroom initiatives in academics. Exploring the ideas, the WOW classroom defines an initiative on ground of learning to learn as a priority rather than an occasional occurrence. And friends, to the initiation of learning as a delightful delivery in the classroom should be the priority. For I stand here to explore the possibility of making the delivery. Good afternoon, Purnima. This is really great and happy to have you here. Yeah, hello. Yeah. So I'm online now. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, welcome Rashida, welcome Roshni, welcome Shubh, and happy to be here. Thanks to Raki, who has been so kind to invite me on this initiative of WOW Classroom. Good afternoon, Mrs. Khan. Happy to have you here. Well, the concept of WOW Classroom, as a teacher, there's always a demand for learning delight. The moment you enter the classroom, the children either say, "Oh, ma'am aa gayi," or "Wow, ma'am aa gayi." So that the concept is aha element should be there when you enter the classroom with the initiative of learning as a delight. And we look forward to exploring that scenario. I hope you guys can see me. Can you write as a message if you can see me or hear me? How many of you can see me? Please answer, because there's a, or I can log in again. Can you guys see me? Okay. I just wanted to get some input from people who can see me. Yeah. Okay. So are you guys able to see me? Okay. So this is Anjum says yes, Rainy says yes. So okay. So let's initiate what I mean by a WOW classroom. See, WOW as a small word which means WOW, which initiates on wonders in the classroom, and look forward to initiating the task which preference to initiate the learning in the classroom. And for me, I will be sharing some of the ideas on what initiates WOW classroom within the classroom, so the teachers can anticipate potential problems by planning and taking on a positive approach to classroom management. And that has to be the initiative for children to be learners for the lifetime. So anything you share in the classroom should be a delight. So this delight can only come up when you express with desire and taking them as the bosses in the classroom. Remember, in order to have a delightful learning, you need to initiate and develop strategies to be sure that the students have a learning environment infused with a positive discipline and the effective classroom procedures. What is required is a connect. And how you're going to connect is by identifying the potential learners by prompt. And the prompt has to be done by calling them by their first name, not by the surname. Remember, if you're calling Amit Gupta, don't call Gupta, call Amit. Don't call for roll number 14. Never ever. Remember, with the first name, it is always a delight for you to learn and to get the reflection of the learning and the participation by all. Teachers need to anticipate potential problems by planning and by taking a positive approach to classroom management. And that is again very, very important. We need to initiate that task of learning as a delight, because the children at times overreact. They want to have a show off in the classroom. They want to play. They want to try to, prove themselves over others. So we need to understand these emotional aspects and try to make them understand for initiation to be connected in the classroom, to be engaged in the classroom, because if they are not engaged, they are enraged, because everyone wants attention these days. Even a class 5th child would grab attention by doing something or the other. Even they raise their hands at times to say, ma'am, it is already in the book, tell us something new. So that's the delight we need to observe. Also at the same time, some of the wow teaching skills which I wanted to share here include being a tech enthusiast. Teachers need to be tech enthusiasts. And now by tech enthusiasts, I mean that you need to be initiating your online reputation management. This is the right hour for you to prove how best you're connected with your students. What are the wonderful apps you're utilizing at this hour of Corona that you're able to explore? So we need to understand that the initiation has to be with the preference of learning as a delight. Yeah, I also welcome Shabina, I also welcome Aparna, I also welcome Anvesha, and I welcome, teachers, health teachers, moderator. Yeah, thank you so much for taking this initiative. I was talking about the wonderful skills which the rockstar teachers should have. And that the first one is being the techno or the tech enthusiast. The other one is being innovative. You need to be open to taking challenges and delivering them, that pride in the learning, the pride in the learning, in the action, and also the commitment. You need to be a committed teacher to explore with an essence of learning. And also, hi Vinal, hi Aishwarya, thank you for joining. Right, so we are going to talk about the preparation. You can't go to the classroom without preparation. You just can't be there. If you're not prepared, or if you have unplanned, then you're actually planned to fail. So remember, planning is very much required. You just can't go without planning in the classroom. If you forget to plan, you actually plan to fail. So the preparation is very much required. Then the organization of the classroom, what the seating arrangement for the day would be, what are the children you're going to be interactive with, what is the level of the question you're going to ask in order to make them understand you and the learning, both all together. Above all, organizational skills also reflect on whether you're going to revise the part of it, what is the time you're going to utilize the e-learning module, what is the time you're going to use some maybe modeling in the classroom or visualization in the classroom, some of the tools like making up a fishbone diagram or probably some mind maps. What are the ways you're going to utilize the tools in the classroom, and how tolerance is exhibited. Now you need to be a tolerating, and you need to figure out the emotions in the classroom in a big way. And emotional quotient, that is equally important. You need to tackle, you need to identify, you need to talk to them on one-on-one, and make sure praise in public and criticize in private. Even if the child is of class 4th or 5, you cannot criticize him in public. Remember, praise in public and criticize if you have to, because otherwise it's not preferable to criticize people. But at times when the children are not doing something of your interest or something, they're crossing the line, so make sure that they don't get criticism in open. You can call them, you can tell them, child, please meet me when the school gets over, or please come to the staff room during the recess time or the lunch time. I want to speak to you, right? So this is how you can interact with the children. If they have done something wrong, they should be told about it, not in public. Because if you do that in public, you lose that child forever. Apart from that, open questions. You need to limit your questions to the priority to get the connect of all. Now, what I mean by this is actually 90% of the questions asked in the classroom should be such which should be answered by 99% of the students in the classroom. That means the level of the question should be such in order to have interactive environment, in order to have participatory environment, you need to ask questions of the level which 95% of the children can answer. We do it the opposite, because our opportunity or our ultimate goal is to make the class quiet. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Because I've been a teacher myself. I understand. The priority of every teacher in the class is to maintain silence. But my dear friends, do you think that when the children are quiet in the classroom and there's an absolute silence in the classroom, is the learning happening then? Well, at times when I interact with students, I tell them, don't talk. They say, sir, we are not talking, we are interacting, we are discussing. So there comes the repartee, there comes the instant reply by them. And hence, we need to take it as a priority to connect the children who are actually in an interactive mode all the way. Now remember, the children will only like the subject if they like the teacher. Yes or no? Of course, yes. So the children will only like the subject if they like the teacher. And if you want the children to like you and the subject, you need to work for them. You need to be happy with them. You need to interact with them. And above all, make sure that I am a child in the classroom and I'm sitting in the class. I've never answered any questions because the questions my teacher asks is always beyond my limit, So how do I answer? And if I don't answer, I'm not in the limelight. But in order to have interaction, in order to have engagement, make sure teachers that you ask the question with the children. 95% of the children can answer. And when you do so, what happens? The children who have never raised their hands ever in their life have also raised their hands, and they are participating now because they can answer. I don't say that you repeat the same question again and again. No way. You just try to see the child's participation now. He has never raised his hand ever. Now you've given him the opportunity to raise the hand. What happens? He stands. He's able to answer. The children clap for him. He goes home. He says the same thing with his parents. In the bus also, the children tell him, oh wow, bahut padhne lage ho aajkal. He's happy. Next day he comes prepared. And next day, you, while asking the question, raise the standard of the question so that the participation is more. And this is how you can gather the participation of all the children who have never dared to answer that in the class. And this is how you develop the love of the subject. Because when you recognize a child that he's able to do something, he can do wonders. And that is the approach. The second approach is storytelling. Now, storytelling doesn't mean telling a story. There was a king, there was a queen, or something like that. Storytelling means sharing ideas. sharing the incidences about, say, for example, what's the new in iPhone, or what's the new book by Malala, or a new step by the Prime Minister, or what else. So this is the initiative you need to look for. And for that, you need to be a ready reckoner for knowledge in action. And that 5 minutes or 4 minutes of interaction like this will make you people get together to explore the participation. Then, of course, there is a delight always with the attribute of you as a teacher to be having an unwavering courage. You need to understand the initiative of learning as a delight. And for that, you need to be on the learning spree all the time, because the more you learn, the more you're able to earn in terms of knowledge, recognition, and pride. I don't say money all the time, but once you are there, because you are at this position, it's because of your knowledge. Yes or no? So the more you learn, the more you earn in terms of knowledge, recognition, and pride. People respond to you is because of your knowledge. People respond to you is because of the activities you are engaged with, so that the children look forward to a new vocabulary every time they interact with you. Even at times, they look forward to learning as a priority in life. And when I'm talking about this WOW Classroom capsule, the WOW Classroom is a possibility. I don't say that it is not at all possible. It is possible very much. And that happens only when you have a habit of doing more than what you're paid for. Remember that habit of doing, because there are people who are teaching and they're passionate about their teaching. They're looking forward. I know during these days, the teachers are, they're just thinking somehow the school opens and I go with my children. Yes or no? Because you remember the day when the children are not there in the school and you're there to pass on the time. Yeah. So that's the time when you are actually looking for. And you don't pass, you're not able to pass the time even, the first period, second period, third period. Oh, it's still 12 noon. Oh my God, had the children been there, I would have been in the last period. I do remember the time passes so quickly. So this is how that the children are actually the life, the oxygen of our lives, and they act. And now remember, if you want to be a wow teacher, if you want to be a rock star teacher, have a pleasing personality. Wear a smile as you wear a perfume, right? So that pleasing personality should be your shadow once and every time, right? Teachers are regarded as healers for life. And you don't lose respect, when the children come and they touch your feet, see blessings, you get delighted. And that's what the ultimate aim of life, that you get your children, get into a position where you feel and you look for them in this way, right? And try to practice sympathy and understanding. The child may be irritated, but because of some reason. So don't just try to, push on that idea that he is like that. One incident doesn't prove that child to be right or wrong. You can't just label the child out of one incident. That may be because of some other, or maybe the previous chapter, or maybe the previous class or something like that. Mastery of detail is equally important. Remember, you need to nurture your intelligence. You need to nurture. Gone are the days for A for apple, B for boy, and C for cat. I'm sorry. Today, it's high time that we consider as A for Android, B for BlackBerry, and C for cloud. And that is the delight we are looking forward to as an approach of learning as a priority. And to the majority of the places and the people I move around during my teacher training or school audits, I always tell them that there's always a delight, there's always a second chance. So remember, giving them the recognition with the mastery of detail is very much required, and willingness to assume the full responsibility. As teachers, we are actually wow individuals. Why? Because we are looking forward to people, developing them as the future workforce, right? And I would like to welcome some of the new joinees: Jayashri, Sumna, Meena, and Aishwarya Farzana, Summa, Vinayak, Purva, Reni, and others. I'm not able to call out because my priority is here. Of course, I'll open it for some of the questions also under the 5 minutes, and then we can explore some learning on this delight. Remember to cooperate with the fellow teachers and cooperate with the student council, cooperate with the members of your students, because they are your team. You just can't be, kings and queens. So you enter the classroom, cross the threshold of the class, you become the king and queen. I'm sorry. It is participatory. When you teach, both learn. I mean, the student as well as the teachers, right? So don't try to observe. Gone are the days. I remember my teachers used to teach. If I teach the way my teachers used to teach, I will be befooling them of age. Why? Because today it is like learning together. And at times, the children raise their hands and say, "Ma'am, it's already in the book. Tell us something new." So that's the demand these days, that we need to be prepared. And of course, we should respect our parents, for they did their high school without Google or Wikipedia. That's a priority, right? So we need to be counter to the Google results. We need to be counter to their Instagram post and all that stuff. We need to even counter their gluing on the screens with Hotstar or Netflix or any other online portal. So that effectiveness has to be delivered as a teacher. For we ask as students to be good observers, consider the world carefully and to analyze the implications of what they see. As educators, it's time we do the same, right? So we need to embrace technology or the students will leave us behind. We need to talk about what's new on Hotstar, what's new on Netflix, and we need to talk like at times, otherwise there will always be a digital divide. A simple reason for digital divide is, the other day I was interacting with a few teachers and I asked about sandwich, ice cream sandwich. An ice cream sandwich, everybody said, "Oh, ice cream kept in between sandwich and all." Then I asked one of the student council members, and he said, "Sir, it's a new version of Android phone." So that's the connect, It's the digital divide which is losing out at this purpose. So that's how we need to understand. Working with the square wheel, with the new potential, we need to come up with that idea of empowerment through ICT. And learning in the second decade of the 21st century is about knowledge, about skill, and about the action. And that is the approach we need to look forward to. Or about the concepts like artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and robots entering our classrooms, also as associates, facilitating learning. But it's high time that we need to come up with the ideas and explore the ideas in the better way, right? I aim that all my listeners become rockstar teachers. But when I'm talking about rockstar teacher, a rockstar teacher is a teacher who uses the 21st century ICT skills to actually create self-directed learners acting as agents of change, who will transform the world in several different spheres of activities. Their students are achievers, creators, thinkers, and even innovators, driven by the passion and commitment to make a difference. That is the approach of being a rockstar teacher. And I believe that Team Rockstar, who all are watching here, I am very sure that this has to initiate with the approach of being a rockstar teacher as a priority. Every one of you should actually be a rockstar teacher. And next time you hear about a National Teacher Award, please try to apply, at least get to know where you stand, so that 5 or 6 years from now, you prepare yourself for that National Teacher Award. And that is the pride for every teacher. So you can be of any board, ICC, IIC, or maybe state board, doesn't matter. Go to the HRD Ministry website and search for the National Teacher Award. At least download that page. Maybe fancy for you at this hour, but maybe 5 years from now, you become a part of it. So that is the reflection you need to look forward to as an approach, right? So my desire by all of you is to be a rockstar teacher and explore the possibility. Welcome Aishwarya, welcome Shubh, welcome Sudha ma'am, Great to have you. Welcome, Manjula. And then we talk about the excellence model of learning. That is the approach where we're talking about the teaching as an excellence. We are talking about total quality management in education. But for that, we need to have teachers as unique individuals, teachers as outstanding individuals with their knowledge, with their ability to convince, with extraordinary feature of delight, personality, and be attractive overall by their words and pronunciation, by their creative nature. And hence, the quality teacher has to be contributed towards being quality focused. IT as a base has to be there. Every teacher has to have, say, one or two YouTube videos. Every teacher has to have some of the Gmail Connect based, because when you have a Gmail, of course you can access the YouTube. And when you go to the youtube.com, you've already logged in using your Gmail ID. There's an option for you to upload a video free of cost. Make a channel on the YouTube. There's a CBSE channel, and there's so many hundreds of channels out there. You just go and make your own channel. Let your children visit your channel and check your videos. Ask them to give comments, and then you also help yourself being better. Vision directed. You should have a vision. 5 years from now, I'll be doing this. I have one book, maybe in my bucket list, which I'll be writing by the end of this year. Why not? And these days, we have independent authors who are independent of publishers. There's, like, I have published over 60, 70 books, and I'm now, if the publisher is not able to print my book or publish my book, I publish it through independent publishers like that of Notion Press in Chennai. So many of my books which are available on Amazon are published through Notion Press. So anyone can go and just get it published. You have to pay a little amount, but you get to empower yourself, because when you interact with your students that I have a book, I have a website, I have blogs, I have a YouTube channel, so they start believing in you. And that is what is the children demand these days. Then you need to be customer driven. Now, these are customers, ultimately your bosses, the management is not your real boss, but your students are. Hence, you need to initiate that concept of, satisfying them every hour. And remember, with the children, you have more than 200 bosses to satisfy every day as a teacher. You're teaching in one class, 7B, around 35 to 40 children. You go to 5 more classes, 5 multiplied by 40 comes out to be 200 students. There are 200 bosses to be, satisfied every day. And hence, you need to be the best of you, flexible and adaptive, time-based, innovative, globally connected, networked. And that is the pride we need to be having as you. So remember, does your child want a teacher in you? You need to be friendly. You need to stop yelling. You can't be yelling all the time, because then, of course, something like the Hindi song, it says, "Aap aaye bahar aayi," so it becomes bahar gayi every time you go in the classroom. So try to don't yell. You can't shout. You can't yell. Cool yourself. Understand that learning can be hard sometimes. So we need to listen to the students, care the students, and you need to be enthusiastic all the time. Encourage the students by motivating them all the time. So that is the approach we are looking at. And then, of course, your students are probably internet authorities in a way. When it comes to Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, they might know far more than you, and they know actually, right? So we need to respect them for their knowledge and try to learn something about technology through them, right? It is high time for us to understand. For teaching and learning should bring joy, as we know, but we can't be teaching the way we were taught, right? So however powerful would be our world today, we had kids who were afraid of risk, but today every child is a champion. Every child wants to be a champion and wants to take risks. So they want recognition, they want pride, and they want the new transitional phase of learning to be as a priority. Then, of course, as I'm talking about, I see Meena and Andrea and Peetham and Mahek. Welcome you all, guys. Shubh, Nitika, welcome. Meena, Nisa. Thank you all very much for joining. We have 186 comments so far, and it's really great being with you all. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm happy to know that you guys are enjoying this in a way. So a little yes from you people or anything. We have another 5 minutes to go for questions. So then we'll open it for questions. I just wanted to share one more important thing about creating an emotionally connected, safe classrooms where students should be engaged in a challenging task. So create an emotionally safe classroom, create an intellectually safe classroom. So I hope you know the meaning of intellectually safe classroom and emotionally, because emotionally at times or intellectually at times, children are not happy, or they are not prepared to raise their hands even and go and ask for, going to the washroom. They wait for your period to get over. There are incidences where you observe and you just try to, get away with it. But there are times when the children even, they feel that they are not emotionally connected with to initiate that task and explore. Thank you everyone for following me. Thank you so much. Purva, Sonal, Anuksha and Shubh, thank you so much for responding to my question. Cultivate an engagement meter. Now at times you must have seen that the children are sleeping with their eyes open. They do it, right? 30% of the children don't look at you. 70% who look at you don't look at you because they have to look at you. They have no option but to look at you. And out of 70 students who look at you, 40 to 50% of those students are actually sleeping with their eyes open. So we need to cultivate the engagement meter. As I've been a teacher myself, I've been a computer science teacher. So I need to be innovating all the time. Today also when I write my books, I need to initiate that what good the children would love when I write this program or give this question or an assignment. So you need to cultivate your engagement meter by either way of storytelling or maybe using some idea about some reflection using the e-learning methodology or anything of that sort, right? At the very time, communicate with students, encourage and focus their writing with a prompt. I expect my teachers to know the definition of the word respect, that one of the children said. I expect my teachers to know the definition of the word respect. That means they're demanding respect in the classroom. And at times, when you go to the classroom, you don't expect children to stand. Rather than you speak, good morning, children. And they say so, good morning, ma'am, thank you very much. This is the high time when we give them that recognition, because the 40 minutes is going to be ruled by their presence in the classroom and how they react in the classroom, right? So that is what is the preface we need to look forward to. Then create a culture of explanation, which is equally important. Creating a culture of explanation and instead that of the right answer, because they are very happy giving the right answer, looking from the back of the book. Generally it happens in the maths, where they have the right answer. They know question number 2, page 2, chapter 2, there's option B is the right answer. They just say option B and they get the oh. But there has to be a culture of explanation. So that's the delight we need to look forward to, how we are going to be telling them about that initiative, right? Then, of course, there's a self-awareness. They need to be knowing where they are, right? They need to be knowing. Many of the students let too much of their knowledge float in the sea of confusion, and they develop a habit of guessing sometimes without even knowing what they're guessing, right? So you need to teach the self-awareness. You need to tell them, better, you need to know what you are, where you are, right? And this is how you have to study now. Use the questioning strategies. That's equally important. The more you ask them, the more they prepare themselves for better, right? Not to make them quiet, but to make them engaged. And I told you, In order to make them engaged, you need to ask the questions initially, which 95% of the children can answer, not cannot, right? And then you slowly, steadily increase the standard of the question so that the participation is more, right? So this is how you can deliver that learning in the classroom, and then make all your students think and answer every day. Include some questions you require every student to answer. Find a question you know everyone can answer simply, and have the class respond all at once. That's the delight for all the students. Like when they say, let's say the morning prayer, they all stand up because they know it, right? The mission and the vision of the school, they know it, right? So that is the delight we look forward to. And then promote quality at workplace, engage towards pride and polishing with motivation. Stop being rude. That's the delight we look forward to. Stop being rude. We are rude at times unconsciously. I don't say consciously, I say unconsciously. And hence we need to look forward to. So any questions now, you can start asking, and we would be happy to answer them, of course, with that scenario of learning. So welcome. Thank you, Avni, for those cheers, and Shubh, creating interesting culture to get the students' attention. Very good. And Sumna, thank you for your comment. We look forward to some questions. Anything you want to share, anything you want to explore, any question from the people there? Yeah, I'm looking forward to, before we close down in another 5 to 10 minutes. And of course, before I get any question, I would like to also tell you one very important thing, that is, I've already shared. Never try to complain about your life and your students in the class. Don't talk about 8B in 7th A. You don't know they have friends or brothers or sisters, so that they create a fuss next time when you go to the classroom. So don't say these idiots are there in 8B or 7th A. Never try to complain about your work life or your students in the classroom, which we tend to do at times unconsciously. I say that unconsciously, right? And that actually brings concern for you, because when you go to the classroom, you may not be teaching, right? But if you go for an arrangement, proxy, or substitution, there's always a concern. She is the teacher. He is the teacher who said something like that. Let's create fuss, you know. So generate the wow experience in the classroom. Your every speak, your every delivery should catch the eyeballs of the audience. And that's the approach. I've also written in many of my books. Some of my books are available on Amazon, like 200 wow teaching ideas. And I explored some of you can even Google and find out 200 wow teaching ideas, where I've talked about all these opportunities for teachers, how to make them catch the eyeballs of the audience, right? So you as a teacher should be a wow teacher, in particular to bridge the divide between you and the child. You need to be techno-savvy, I repeat, and above all, you need to be innovative on ground of creativity in the classroom. You need to be a street smart teacher. You should not be just be a hardworking teacher. You should not be just be a smart teacher, but a street smart teacher. Now I mean, street smart teacher is the teacher who knows well about what's going out, who knows well about Malalas and Obamas, who knows well about what's going to be next, who knows well about what's the new step or the next step by the CBSE. Before the parents counsel you, before the parents come to know about RTE or anything like that, you just can't say, I'm not teaching board classes 10th and 12th. Sorry, sir, I don't know. You have to be well equipped about the information flooded on the CBSE academic or the CISE academic or any other IB or IGCSE board websites. So be a frequent visitor to these websites so that you know well about it, right? And that approach has to be initiated with a task of being socially connected, socially networked, develop few blogs, develop some websites like webs.com, W-E-B-S, webs.com is a website which allows you to develop your own website free of cost, just like a PPT, right? So I'll write the name of the website as webs.com, right? So webs.com, and there are many, many other websites which are there available for you. You just check out on the Google free websites and you just go there and you will find that it is a very, very easy methodology. Only thing is they'll use their own server as the website name of yours. Why? Because they are using their server, so you need to give them that. You can also purchase fee, but of course, for that you need to pay money. But there's an option of having a free website. What's the harm? So the children are delighted when they visit your website, right? So that is the approach we are looking at. We have some of the questions. How to indulge primary grade students online, especially when the first and the second class. Now, the children, the primary children, they are well versed at apps and so many things. So try to develop or try to get used to, maybe some of your vendors may be providing. So ask them to finish the levels of the app prescribed or suggested by the school or your school app itself, right? Ask them to reorient themselves with the rhymes and stories, and you can have the same stories repeated by them in the classroom. So that is how they get engaged and they are able to use that power of technology at the same time, right? Roshni says how to make smart children write notes. Smart children means they are listening, they are answering all the questions, they may be getting good marks. See, this is the way you can keep some trophies or some smileys or something and tell them that today we are going to have the best 5 good handwriting contest. So by that preference, they will be happy to write, thinking that they might get the toffee and the recognition, you know. So that is one way where you can ask them to, you know, be in the competitive spirit. When they say that the best 5 children who have a great writing will be honored in the assembly. So they will take the honor of writing, you know, unless until there is some motivation, they won't be into it. There are several strategies that need to be followed, of course. And well, Sudha ma'am says respect and sensitivity are key skills, yes, for a great teacher. And Mukta Jha says how to get attention of a hyperactive child. Yeah, you give the responsibility to the hyperactive child, right? So because he is seeking responsibility, he's seeking the attention. So hyperactive child will be, you know, at ease when given some task. And obviously the task which requires physical labor, like getting things from one place to the other, or maybe interacting with somebody or controlling the class. So that is how you can understand that. And it is important to point that you raised that the learner must not be talked about in his or her absence. You're very right. Absolutely, even the staff room at times, because you can set an image. That's true. Some more questions are class dynamics for any unplanned class period given to a teacher, especially on a notorious division. Any guidelines? Well, Rachna, I'm very sure that every teacher should be fertilized to lead any class. So even if you're teaching class 6th, 7th, 8th, you should be prepared to go to class 12th and do something, right? Don't say that, ma'am, they are big children. So you need to be well versed about what is there and seek for opportunities. Always try to understand that you've been given a task and you can take that task. Never say, because I've been a principal myself, I've seen just asking teachers to go for an arrangement substitution or a proxy class, they make faces. Ma'am, they are big children. Now, what do you mean by big children? Big children, like you have been there as well in class 12. Without being in class 12, you're there a teacher or what? Right? So be prepared. Be prepared in the sense like you should be intelligent enough to manage any class, anytime, any opportunity can be given to you. So be prepared and never make your, you have a bad throat. Always you say when you're given a chance to speak in the assembly. So that should not be there. You should be always ready to speak out, because these children, when you address them, they actually get out to be the best, right? So always they are eager to listen to you in the assembly, and don't ever say that you have a bad throat when you have been given a chance to deliver a talk in the assembly. So always be on your roles, always be ready to say something or the other, because the more you communicate, the more you become famous. And the children look forward to, oh, ma'am, she's going to teach us in 9th when we go. I'm still in 6th or maybe in 8th. Next year, she's going to teach us. So they're looking forward to be with you because of your one storytelling during the assembly, right? Good suggestion. Okay, for the hyperactive, Meenakshi, thank you so much. Bharti says how to make students concentrate in the class as they feel the same subject should be taught by a tuition teacher later. Well, you make it a priority and make sure with the parents also that I hate the private tutor, right? But you may not be able to do so physically. They are there because of the cultural, or you can see there are so many limitations where we just can't tell them that there is no need of a private tutor or something like that. But yes, I as a teacher, I believe that if the child is studying from a private tutor, I'm failing in my duties, right? That means I'm not able to deliver something. So you need to talk to the parents, what and why of private tutor. Is it for class 10s and 12s, maybe 9th and 11th, it's okay. But for class 6 child going for a private tuition for Hindi or for English or for geography, I mean, it's not done, you know. So you need to talk to the parents. That means you're failing in your duties as a teacher, that the child is going for a private tuition or is having a private tuition at home is somewhat, I will not digest that. So I think it is high time for all of us to be in such a way. It's something like I'm going to a doctor and at the same time I have another doctor coming to my place to heal me, you know. Then what's the fun going and paying to a wonderful hospital where you're going? And again, you're not happy, you're coming and asking another private doctor next door to come to you again. So teachers are no less than doctors. In fact, more than that, you know, teachers, it is actually the most, you won't believe, but yes, true, Google it. It's supposed to be the most trusted profession in the world. And next comes nursing. So teaching is the most trusted profession in the world. Next comes nursing. And teachers are more than doctors, of course, because they don't use anesthesia. They do live experiments. And that's the priority, that we are in the most trusted profession, the most pious of the professionals among all everywhere in the world. So we need to look forward to that. And once we are there, we need to be doing our duties 100%, right? So what kind of activity we should use as alphabets? See, the best is ask them to do whatever they know about alphabets, right? A for apple, A for Android, A for what else? So there are so many, like if you're teaching physics, it can be A for ampere, B for barometer, C for cathode ray tube, D for decibel. So let them come up with their own vocabulary, and that's the best way they can learn alphabets and the matter also, right? So what kind of activity you should use for? So that's CAF. I have answered your question. Meenakshi, reacting students and acknowledging them, that is very important. Nuzhat, well said, teacher goes for tuition means somewhere we are at fault. Zareen, sorry, thank you. Yeah, teaching is supposed to be the most trusted profession in the world. Fantastic session, hats off to you. Thank you, Andrea. Rachna says a thumbs up. And phonic songs like Jolly Phonics really work well. And you all are best people around. There are so many wonderful apps available. You can download them, you can check on. And if you're keen, I can even share some of my promo codes of Udemy courses available so that you can help out yourself to get to know more about online teaching and other stuff. But remember to showcase your participation in a big way, right? Life experiments, of course, we look forward to learning. And then, of course, I will just share for 5 minutes about the competency-based learning because that's also I promised Raki for this session. So competency-based learning is actually a training format, is an approach where teaching and learning more often used as a learning skill of abstract kind, which means that it's a mastery, you know, it's focusing on mastery of a lesson plan. And here the students are exposed to content, whether skills or concepts over time, and stresses the success mechanism measured in a summative format. So when I'm talking about competency-based education, students are empowered daily to make important decisions about their learning experiences, and they'll create and apply that knowledge and demonstrate their learning. That's the priority. I repeat, it's a process which is empowered daily to make students important decisions about their learning experiences and how they will create and apply knowledge in, and then they demonstrate their learning. So assessment is a meaningful positive and empowering learning experience through which they are observed, and then they receive timely, differentiated, support-based mechanism is followed for their learning. The student progress, that's very important. The student progress based on evidence of mastery is observed, and that is the strength of the competency-based learning. And this is the new model being implemented by CBSE for the schools. The latest circular from CBSE has rightly suggested the schools to impart a competency-based education as an outcome-focused approach that concentrates on the mastery of skills at the learner's pace rather than with a specific period of time, something like semester-wise or half-yearly of end of the session. So the learning outcome is traditionally measured as a continuous format, and here the student understands the three things, which is very, very important: what they need to learn, how the mastery is going to be defined, and how they will be assessed, right? So this is the approach of competency-based learning, and it talks about focusing on students' demonstration of desired learning outcome as central to the learning process. So this is the approach I wanted to share, and now if we have some more questions, I will answer before I say thank you to all. It says, physically engaging children by Bharti. In the class, one of the best practices to gain their concentration. Then we have extremely helpful tips. Thank you very much, Nirupama. Meenakshi, competency-based learning approach. Very good. Yeah, you have explained it so well. Thank you so much. And very important tips that we need use every day. Thank you very much. And I'm thankful to Raki for taking this initiative, and by the THT. Thank you very much for this wonderful initiative. And we have 299 comments. I don't know how many people joined in. 75 people are eyeing at me. So thank you very much. I'm very sure that we'll meet again and initiate the learning as a priority in lives, right, of the children. And remember, all you teachers are future heads of schools. So please work on your skills. Don't be limited in your comfort chair in I'm happy with my 5th C. And 5th B can become 5th C or 5th A. But be prepared that 5th A one day will also become 8th B and 12th A, right? And then you take over as a principal, right? So that has to be the initiative. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you all. Thank you. So I'm ending this. We had quite a long 55 minutes of session, and those who were there, thank you so very much. And I am really excited for the session and for the wonderful approach taken by the THT, right? Thank you very much once again. May God bless all of you during this hour of crisis. I pray for all of you and all the people in the world to be safe and get this over. It's high time. Thank you very much once again.